real nice. Awesome. All right. Thank you for joining us on February. We had a cold winter. Let's just say we're all just recovering from all the eggnog we drank during Christmas. Joking aside, the organizers for the Boston Office 365 user group is Dimitri, who is right now traveling and on vacation and better be enjoying himself. He definitely has needed some time off. We also have Bill Gunny, who is running the slides for us this evening, and myself, I'm David Pileggi. And we also have one of the original founders with us as well, Mike Dixon. So that is kind of the introductions. Today's agenda, we're going to go over the M365 updates that we kind of picked and choose through every month. As you know, being in the cloud, things change, people change, names change. It's amazing. Something's going to be changing, and so we'd like to try to point out at least some of the biggest ones that we think that you might be wanting to know about. And on the previous session, it was Matt Jimison back in November. That will be on YouTube. It's on YouTube now, right, Bill? Or is it almost on YouTube?
Actually, I just noticed it didn't publish, so I'm going to republish that and put that up there.
Fabulous. So it will be there within the next week. I'll give you extra time just in case. All right, so let's go through the 365 updates we chose for the month of February 2025. All right, first, SharePoint, the new editorial card web part for pages and news. So one of the things that you all know, back in the day, back in the classic version of SharePoint, because of the fact you had the ability to actually infuse web code, HTML code. It was awesome. You could do all kinds of crazy things. However, as you can also imagine, it was not mobile reactive. So if I'm on a mobile device and I was on one of those pages, I'd be scrolling to the right or to the left or up and down just to see, the first letter of, somebody who decided to make large words and things like that. Well, with the editorial cards, you have the ability to make things look pretty awesome. And so instead of just the buttons and the squares that you get with like the quick links and stuff like that, these new editorial cards, they'll give you a little bit more to work with. And this is starting to roll out. If it's not in your tenant by this point, it's going to be there relatively soon. So keep an eye out for that. So SharePoint new preview modes for pages and news posts. As you can kind of imagine, back in the day, you had the ability, whatever you see is what you get, but because of the fact that you have mobile views, you have iPad views and things like that, they are starting to work on the preview modes for both the SharePoint pages, the standard ones that you would expect, the modern pages, as well as the news posts, which is also technically modern pages as well. So that's something that's coming out the end of this month, probably going to be closer to the end of next month before they all get out to your tenants. All right, next one. SharePoint pages flexible selections. Okay, so I heard somebody groan.
It doesn't work. But gripes on Collab 365, they've had whole kind of problems with it.
True enough, and as you can expect, when something brand new is released, there are going to be some headaches and heartaches and everything else in between. So yes, they are supposedly flexible selections. Holy cow! I skipped dinner. Flexible sections, and these sections will allow both strict column structure and also without that. So one of the things that people are complaining about is like, I got one, I've got two, or I've got three columns, and they're not very comfortable. I can't make things fit. I don't like that. I want them to. Well, these flexible sections they intend to fix that issue, allow you to have certain things side by each or underneath each other, or look like kind of like Lego pieces, if you will. But as I believe that was John who said that, right now they are having, let's just say, growing pains. And so keep an eye on that, keep testing it, play around with it, and use the user voice and let them know, hey, I want this. This is what I'm finding out. User voice is actually monitored by the teams, the product teams. So definitely be sure to do that as well. SharePoint page creation assistance from Microsoft Copilot. Yes, this will test you on how well you can describe what you're thinking. As you can kind of imagine, for those of you who have used Copilot, it is a very powerful tool, but at the same time, you're going to learn very quickly how good your ability to put into words what you're thinking. I for one, am definitely one of those people who have had interesting responses from it because of the fact that I like to think very quickly. However, my fingers can't type as fast, so I miss certain pieces and I get things that are not exactly what I'm looking for. So this is something that started. I definitely believe it's been released to a lot of tenants. I don't know if they complete the rollout to everyone. However, they're supposed to be finished by late February 2025, the end of this month. Definitely look out for that. And I would certainly try it. It's definitely interesting. It's definitely something to look forward to. It could certainly help speed things up. But like I said before, make sure that you have an understanding of how to accurately and creatively speak what you want in the prompt in order to make it valuable. And Miko's probably he's probably laughing. It's like, boy, did you say that's an understatement? But you'll definitely appreciate his lecture today. Microsoft Teams enable transcription policy by default. So one of the things that was set up is when it was first released, the transcription was defaulted on as off. Someone on here, if I am switching this around, please correct me. But at least with the company that I work with, we actually had to manually turn this on when it was released, and that was after some collaboration between the security team as well as a few other interested parties as well, legal, etc. However, it sounds like from early February 2025, that means it's already going to be turned on for you in the default policy for your Microsoft Teams meeting policy. So that's something to keep in mind, especially if you're with a large corporation, that security and legal and other parties want to have a say in it before it's released to the general public. Microsoft Teams SMS for calling plans. This is coming out to the United States and Canada specifically. Basically, you'll be able to receive SMS text messages natively out of Teams. This is something that's pretty cool. Yeah, exactly. For those of you who are clapping, this is something that's been waited on for quite some time, especially for those of us who are actually using their calling plans. So this is just an added benefit or feature of those calling plans. It's definitely something to look forward to. Microsoft Teams new microphone volume indicator for users. I don't know about you guys. I talk aloud. In fact, I'll keep you guys honest. Let me know if I'm yelling, because I'm like Robin Leach when I have these stupid headphones on. I seem to get louder as I go along. So if I'm breaking the 100 decibels and it sounds like a freight train coming through your earphones, let me know.
Sounding good.
Sounding good? Okay, good. So that being said, one of the things that is helpful is having that microphone volume indicator bounce up and down. You can see that in the visual. About 2/3 of the way down that flyout, you can see a microphone with 5 blue dots next to it. I would probably be peaking out at about 12 to 20 dots at times when I get excited, but they'll visually give you an indicator. It's like, okay, this is how loud you're talking. This is good. Or you're like, somebody else who might have a very soft voice that may not project very well. This is a great way to visually see how you're doing when you're speaking to a Microsoft Teams meeting.
Can you hear me now?
Fun fact, I actually auditioned for that. I did not get the role. I lost it out to the guy who you all know and love. Okay, anyways, weird facts aside, Microsoft Teams new calendar experience. I am so hoping. There has been numerous attempts in SharePoint, and there's been several attempts in Microsoft Teams to actually have a good calendar experience. They've been okay, meh at best, but they are actually working on it. They have heard the user voice. It's everywhere. There's so many places you can vote up calendar experiences in Microsoft Teams and SharePoint. It's amazing. They are hearing us. And so they're integrating Microsoft Teams and Outlook. Teams ate my Outlook invites. That's amazing. And yes, because I stream, I will read you guys just like I'm reading chat when I stream. So hashtag sorry, not sorry. Users can obviously opt in and try the advanced features for scheduling as well, meeting creation, that whole 9 yards for the new calendar experience. Definitely want to check that out. There's a lot. Honestly, I'm going to probably put this through the ringer because of the fact it's been so desired. Yeah, go ahead, Bill, because you know me. Once I start talking, it's not easy to shut me up. Anyways, huge thanks to our platinum sponsor, Turn Digital, who has been paying the bills, so to speak. Mike Dixon, you got your hand up, brother. What's up?
Yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know that that was an actual issue that I ran into, where I noticed that all of a sudden things were appearing on my calendar, but I wasn't getting invite notifications in Outlook anymore. So I wasn't being prompted for the option to accept or decline meetings. And this was very problematic because apparently a lot of spammers have caught on to this. So they send meeting invites all the time. So now literally my calendar was being spammed. But there are notification settings that you can turn off in Teams that will disable that feature.
Yep.
So I just wanted to share that with everybody in case anybody else has run into that problem. It was very frustrating until I figured out how to turn it off. So good luck.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks for bringing that up, Mike. I really do appreciate that. It's definitely something, just as you can expect with the pages that John indicated, where it's not exactly working as planned. It's just the nature of the beast, unfortunately. Fortunately or unfortunately, they just have a very large test, beta audience when they release it. And once they find things are going on, they'll take care of it. Now to the main event. So Mikko Koskinen, okay, I just killed it. I apologize in advance.
That's good. All right. Close enough.
Please teach me after how to pronounce it properly. I definitely want to make sure I have that down. But Copilot Agent governance, 6 must-know and more settings for administrators. Mikko, please take it away. Go ahead, share your slide deck with us and let it rip.
Yeah, thank you, David, so much. And evening to you also. So my name is Mikko Koskinen. I'm calling for you from Scandinavia. So I'm actually currently in Stockholm, but I'm living in the Finland currently. But let me share my presentation.
It's amazing that
Yeah,
you're in Stockholm. You wouldn't know.
yeah. So let's continue and let's quite deep actually in the governance side. I will be showing you some agents today. We can discuss about how to build them also, but I'll try to cover up the governance and administration side because, well, I don't know, if you have been working with the agents, you do know that it's still quite a hassle where to find everything and which settings you need to go through. So I'll try to go through the main ones today. I will also give you a couple of hints based on our experience that how you should be targeting the governance planning and development models. But briefly from myself, so my name is Mikko Koskinen. I'm working as a principal consultant in a company called Sulava. My main technologies currently are the Copilot and Power Platform in general, but I actually used to live in Boston a couple of years ago, and that's the reason why I actually contact you with this session. I've been involved in these user group sessions earlier a couple of times, even online, but it's a couple of years since I was in Boston the last time, and the kids here in the image are already grown up a lot from that image. But let me share you this information and presentation. So I'll put the links on the chat. I also add my LinkedIn link there, so you should be able to download the presentation from that side. Few words from Sulava. So Sulava is a company established 2010. We are operating mainly here in the northern part of Europe, but we are actually a part of the bigger group called the Digital Neighborhood, which means that we have offices and sister companies all over Europe currently. There's around 1,000 and maybe 600 nowadays colleagues all around the world. Okay, the slide is actually a little bit old already, so we just established a new office space from Stockholm also, from where I'm calling currently. But Sulava is working and operating only in the cloud side. So we have bigger teams and businesses, especially around modern work. So Teams, for example, SharePoint intranets are something that we are doing. Half of our turnover is coming from the training services for different technologies. And for the past year or year and a half, we've been concentrating a lot on the Copilot side. So we've been trained and we've been trained thousands of end users and multiple companies already on how to adapt and use the Copilot services. And for the past 6 to 12 months, we have already started to build and onboard these agents from different points of view to be used on the Office and Copilot services. So my team is actually concentrating currently mainly on training the agents, training the governance side, and we are also building the agents from couple of ways already for our end customers. But I think that for today's agenda, let's start a little bit from the beginning, and let's think through that. What does it actually mean to have an agent? In high level, it's quite easy to figure out that, okay, I have this type of button in the Copilot Studio side that I can push, and it will answer to me and do some different type of actions for me. But the reality is that still many, how they see the agent side, is to have some type of workflow which is using the large language models somehow, and then automating those processes. It could actually be an agent also. It really depends how you are determining the terms here. But it's really important to understand that what type of agents do we have, because that has a straight effect on the governance side. So that's why let's go through a couple of ideas, and I'm also asking you to maybe to point out and think through that what type of agents are we actually seeing, and for example, how many of those there is in this demo. So let me switch on the demo side here, and let's start to go through different places where we see agents nowadays. So my demo user here, I have the M365 Copilot license available for me. Okay, nowadays in the past week or two, there has been these agents and Copilot chat available also for those who don't have the Copilot license. But I'm now concentrating on the situation that you do have the license available. So the first agent that you might see in all over the SharePoint side is actually from the top menu from here. What you have here is one type of agent which is built by Microsoft or maintained by Microsoft. And I can start to ask questions from this. And what this agent actually does is that it goes through the content on the SharePoint, meaning the modern pages, documents. And it can then answer to you and find information from these places. In the default mode, like this agent here, it is able to read all the information under this site collection here. Okay, if I'm in the root side of the SharePoint hub infrastructure, it is actually able to find the information also from the sub pages or sub sites of the hub content, but in general that's targeted only for the site collection side. The other thing what we can do is to start creating these type of agents. So you might have seen this link from different menus. It's also in the home page where you can start to create the agent. So let's open that type of agent that I just created, and let's check the Turku agent. So Turku is the hometown for me. It's located in the southwest of Finland, quite it's also the oldest city in the country. And what I can do with this agent here is to start asking about Turku and its history. So what I have done with this agent is, well, mainly the simplest thing that you can do. I have pointed a couple of documents from here, and I have given those as a data source or knowledge source to be used. And the whole idea of these type of agents is that we can decide and target the information, the knowledge to a specific ones, so that we are not using everything from the site collection. We are only using those that we decided that this agent is able to use. So you can only select the documents, and then you have this button here where you can start to create the agent. If you go behind here, we can see the different options that we have for the agents and what type of settings we can do. The editor, what we are now seeing, is called Copilot Studio Agent Builder. So it's a lightweight version from the Copilot Studio. So it doesn't have all the functionalities, at least not currently. But let's see where we are going, because as you can see, there is already a button for Copilot Studio available, but I think that currently it's still in the coming soon mode here. So let's see where we are, you know, even in a couple of months here. But with these agent builders, we can create this type of well, lightweight agents that we can connect to some data sources, not everywhere. Also, thing to remember with this one is that if I'm adding, for example, an SharePoint site here or SharePoint library, it is automatically using your identity and settings while it is having the conversation with the end users. So if the end user don't have access to this site or don't have access to some of the document libraries that I have selected for the agent is not able to give answers then for those end users. So the permissions aren't stayed here. But this is one type of agent, or what we see here. But maybe let's switch now on the M365 chat experience, and let's see the other type of agents that we could be using from this side. In the right section here, you can see the necessary buttons to, first of all, to get different type of agents and also to create them. So your admins, and this is something that I'll discuss in more details in a moment, they can set up the agents for you. It really depends on the settings and access controls that what agents you can see here, but as you can notice already, there are a lot of these available out of the box from different vendors against different type of systems, but you can also build this by yourself based on your needs. And you are also having the same Copilot Studio Agent Builder available here if you want to start to create and configure the agent for yourself throughout this view here. If you haven't ever built actually these agents and you would like to start with something, I recommending on looking through these different agents that Microsoft is offering to you. So one good example is this prompt coach that you can use to teach you about prompting, and you can even, for example, ask the Copilot to analyze your prompt if you want to make them actually better, and to understand that how to fine-tune the prompting. But the good thing is that Microsoft has offered an information that how these agents are actually built. So if you create the agent from here, you can see that these are available for you as a template. So if I now click this template, I can actually see that what type of settings the Microsoft is using for creating these agents. So there's no APIs or any type of code behind on these functionalities. The whole system is based on the power of the large language model and then the instructions that the end user has given to this. So this is really nice and valuable way of seeing that how you need to fine tune and give these instructions for the agents. But let's not spend too much time on the instruction side, although that's highly important one. So let's see a couple of other ideas how you can create agents. This agent here, the Coho agent, is actually connected to an outsourced or data outside of the tenant here. So we have a system that we are using to maintain our project information. And if I click here, we see that we go on another SaaS service outside of the tenant, but we are getting that information back throughout this agent experience. And I could, continue on asking the information. I'm not sure, do I have that project available in this site? So it wasn't, but let's check the other ones. Let's check a couple of other projects from that system. So we are getting that information back, and the agent is using the general knowledge of the the tenant and large language model also here to give this information back. So we could have this type of agent which is using the information from outside of the tenant. In this example, actually, this information is coming from the graph side. So I have extended the Copilot experience and read the information from the system, and I have pushed that back as an data in the index side. We could also do other things with the agents. We can even play games if we want to. Same type of situation than in the last example, that we are using the power of the large language models to do things. So this small game here is giving you clues about some city that the agent is actually thinking about. So let's check that. Could that be Turku? No, it wasn't. But I think that based on the second clue, this is Paris. And we got the information back. So again, based on the instructions that I gave to the agent, I was able to create this type of functionality without, connecting the agent to any type of application behind the scene. But most likely, you would actually like to connect to some services and then use that functionality or information for your agent. And this agent here is able to read data from a warehouse system. So the Northwind, which many of you might already recognize, it's a SQL Server database that we have installed in the Azure on our Azure tenant, and we created an agent on top of that. So when I'm asking about different items in the database, the agent is automatically connecting to a live database. It is using the large language model to get the information, but we have also set up the agent so that the detailed information for the product that we are discussing about will be shown on this type of form or card here. So we have a little bit better user experience. We can also take actions against the database, so that we are not only reading the information, we can also make updates and push the data back on the system. So this way we can have a quite full functionality, almost like a full-blown application, but I'm still in the Copilot experience and having that conversation here. And we could continue a lot further with this type of agent sites and this type of capabilities. But this is only, again, one type of agent what we are looking at this point. In the terminology of Microsoft, there are also other agents than only these smaller ones that we are using from the Copilot chat side. There are also full agents that we can create and leverage from different services. So here we have a website where I have actually embedded the agent in this site, and this agent here is connected to our course system, so it can read the information from our web pages. It can also connect to our background systems where we are controlling the courses and the enrollments. So if I'm making a query that, okay, what type of Power Platform related courses there are incoming, you can see that the information is coming from our website. So we have this type of, well, this is PL 400 here. So this is a course that my colleague Mikko will be holding in a couple of days. So let's say that I would like to enroll for that course. So
Nico,
yes.
there is a question in chat. Are you going to discuss restricted search when it comes to this?
Well, we can. Depends, of course, that what type of restrictions are you would you like to have on this type of situations?
Mike Dixon, if you could unmute and clarify.
Yeah, please clarify.
So this is something that came from one of my clients. Microsoft has apparently released this new feature called SharePoint Restricted Search. And there's some debate as to whether or not this is required for Copilot deployment, or if it's an optional feature for those that just have really poor information architecture. And
Let's check this out. This is quite new information. No.
Yeah, that's the stuff.
Yeah. So of course this is not mandatory for the Copilot, but this is definitely one of those elements that you need to think through, and especially overall the data restrictions, data labeling, etc. You need to think those through when you are onboarding the Copilot services. That's one thing that we have actually noticed, that somehow the Copilot has brought up this type of discussion, in the words and mouths of our customers. So earlier, no one is maybe a little bit too strict here, but it wasn't too often that we had the discussion that, okay, how should we actually use the different search and DLP settings in the tenant to really cover and secure our data. So SharePoint might be quite open, but I don't know, was it that because the SharePoint search is not able to show the information, or what was the reasons? But when we have started to onboard the Copilot, the organizations have started to see that, okay, maybe that type of information which should not be so public for all of the users are actually seen in the or available in the tenant side. So I don't actually recall this functionality as something that has been like really on top of the things that you need to go through when you are onboarding the Copilot side. But definitely this is something that you should also think through, that is this something that you need to set up?
And I think you're absolutely right there. And it very much gives flashbacks to those of us that remember when Delve was first launched.
Yes.
Same sorts of conversations.
Yeah.
And same sorts of panic.
Yeah, it was sort of panic. Then for some reason it calmed down a little bit, and no actions was taken. So hopefully we are now in a situation that everyone is starting to take those actions.
Yeah. Okay. Really, thank you very much.
DLPs. Correct. So let's think through the demo here. I actually said to the agent that, okay, I want to enroll for this course. What this now gives to us is a form here that I can give. And from this form, I can give my information and I can click save. And what happens now behind the scene is that the agent is controlling the way or the enrollment information, and is giving me an information that, okay, that was successful actually. So let's check a couple of things now from the Teams side. We are not going too deeply on that agent today, but there was a reason why I show that information to you. So first of all, that agent is done with the Copilot Studio. And what happened behind the scene was that we got a new message in the Teams which has a link for a system, and we can see that we have that enrollment done from this site. So the agent was able to get the information and save that information back on the database here. Other thing what happened behind the scene, and I think we should have a notification here, was that we also got a second message which holds the information that, okay, I was referring to a company called Sulava when I was using the form to make the enrollment. And we got some information and small analyze that what type of company the Sulava is. So this information was also generated for me. And how this was actually done, I'll spend only a few minutes here to show that information. We actually engage multiple agents here to have this functionality available for us. So we had that Sulava course in structure agent, a normal Copilot Studio agent that has a couple of topics. So the course enrollment topic was here, where we can control that how the conversation flow goes, and it also was using the actions to give this information. So that's one part of the whole. But the reality was that behind the scenes we were using a second agent that acted automatically when a new event on the Dataverse table was happening. This agent kicked in and started to analyze the information. So I can show that to you from the triggering side. So when a new event happened on the Dataverse side, this agent was automatically starting to analyze that, okay, from which company the new person actually was, and it was using a couple of systems behind the scenes, one query and then a system query also to fetch the information and save that information to a background system, to a simple CRM system, and send the message on the team side. So this happened behind the scenes at this point. As you probably know, you cannot create this type of topic actions, for example, in the Copilot Agent side that you have currently in the M365 Copilot or here in the SharePoint side. But based on the roadmap information, these type of agents should be available as an extension for the Copilot in the upcoming, well, weeks or months. Let's see. We are now in the mid-February currently. It might be that we are seeing this to be available even in during this month. So that's why it's also a valuable thing to remember that you can start to create this type of agents as an extension for the M365 services, hopefully quite soon actually. So quite intensive demo experience with different agents, but the reason was that, do you actually know how many different type of agents we were using during that demonstration? Because this has an effect now on how we are looking things through from the governance point of view. The thing is that we were using 7 type of agents, although we were only using 3 different user experience from the Copilot chat, from the SharePoint, and then from the website. but from the admin point of view, we were using 7 different type of agents. And this is maybe the most important thing to remember from this session here, is that if you want to have administrative actions and governance control over the agents, you need to learn and have a discussion with the creators of these, that what type of agents do you mean when someone is asking that, hey, could I have my agent to be available for the users in the company? Or even if someone is asking that, okay, tell me about the governance of agents. It really depends that what do they mean by the term of agent. So in the high level, we have 2 different type of agents. The first one are these declarative agents. I call this maybe as a Copilot agents, and then we have the other type, which is the custom engine agents. So a custom agent in one way. Still today, these are 2 different type of agents from the extension point of view. But as I said, hopefully in the upcoming months, you can use both of these to extend the M365 Copilot experience. But the way how you control these is a little bit different story, depending on how they have also been built behind the scenes. So even the technology, how you are creating this agent, will have an effect on the governance and admin operations and functionalities. So you can create the agents both in the Copilot Studio and also in the Pro Code way with the Visual Studio Code. You can leverage all of the Azure services with both of these options. And where we are going currently is that Microsoft would like us to in one way to forget about this separation in between the low code and pro code. What we want to do in the future is to have and to use both of these versions. So hopefully even during this year, what I can do, I can start with the Copilot Studio, and then I could continue the development from the Visual Studio Code side, or even do it other way around. So I could create an agent with the Visual Studio Code and then continue in the Copilot Studio. So let's see where we are in the future, but this has an effect on the way how you are controlling the things. So from the demonstrations and demos that you saw, the Northwind agent was actually done with the Visual Studio Code. So it was a Pro Code agent behind the scenes. And then again, all the Coho experience and the Turku agent, those were actually done with the Copilot Studio and the course enrollment agent also. So what we have currently from the governance point of view, when we are talking about the Office, the Microsoft 365 Copilot, we have 3 different type of agents that we need to understand and control. So although the user experience might be quite similar on all of these, but from the admin perspective, these are different agents, let's put it this way. So we have the SharePoint agent, then we have agents that are created throughout the chat experience by using the Copilot Studio Agent Builder. Those are a little bit different than the SharePoint agent here. And then we have agents that you can create either with the Copilot Studio or then with the Teams toolkit in the ProCode way. And to operate in between these different agent types or having a governance built around these, there are similar tools, but also quite much of differences here. Really quickly about the most simple one, the SharePoint side. The fact is that these agents live only inside the SharePoint experience currently. It means that there's not too many governance controls that we can target on these agents. Mainly we can control the sharing and the usage of these agents, but that's done in the same way with the same tools how you are controlling the SharePoint. So when you are setting up permissions for your site, you are also making the settings for these SharePoint agent types. So when you are creating a SharePoint agent, it is actually creating a file inside the SharePoint structure, either in the site assets library or then in the library from where you started to create the agent. And it's a physical file saved on those libraries. And you can set up the permissions for those agents in the normal way with the normal SharePoint permissions tools. But that's about it. So that's in these types, there's not too much things that you can control or set up actually. Then when we go on the simple agents in the M365 Copilot chat, we are starting to have a lot more control over the publishing and also over the usage, but there are still some limitations. For example, if I have created an agent from the chat experience, there's no tool to list them all, for example, currently in the tenant level. So we are still waiting Microsoft to give us, really a tools to see all of these and to maybe target some actions on top of them. The agent that I'm creating throughout the Copilot chat experience, in reality, they are saved in the Azure structure behind the scene. And even a global admin don't have any access into them. So currently there's no tools to do too much with them. So I can only maybe see from some of the audit logs that someone has created this type of agents. That's why my recommendation also is actually that when you are starting to create these agents, you should be using a better development tools. So you should be targeting on the creator experience in the Copilot Studio or then on the ProCode side. Because from here, what we can create and have is a better control over the process for example, for the lifecycle management of these agents. From the end user point of view, Copilot Studio is actually offering even a better functionalities than the agents which we are creating on the chat experience. So, for example, if you want to use the actions, calling a flow, for example, from the agent side, you need to create that agent from the Copilot Studio currently, and you cannot do that on the Copilot chat experience. Then, of course, if the capabilities of the Copilot Studio is not enough for your use case, you can start to leverage the Pro Code experience. There's a Teams Toolkit extension available for the Visual Studio, which you can use to start to create these declarative agents. What that means is that you can connect the agent to any API that are available to you. You can use forms, for example, creating that type of two-way connection that we saw there. So if you need an enhanced capabilities, you need to use the Pro Code way, at least at the moment. But as said, hopefully we will see this topic experience for the Copilot agents from the studio side pretty soon, so that we can start to create more advanced low-code agents in some point. But let's continue from here. And as the topic of this session was saying that there are at least 6, most likely there are more, really, key settings that you as an admin need to understand and go through. Because the thing is that the governance for these different agent types, currently these settings are divided throughout multiple admin centers in the Office 365. So as a SharePoint admin, or maybe you are an Power Platform admin, if you are only operating on that one field of admin centers, you don't have all the necessary tools and settings to really to build up the control over the agents. Because depending on what you want to do, you need to go on different admin centers to create those experiences. The good thing is that the agent governance is using the same principles, the same services that you have already used, for example, on controlling the Power Platform developers. So maybe you have set up a way how to create and control the environments, or maybe you have set up the DLP settings for different connectors. All of those are affecting on the agents also. And same goes in the M365 admin center for different applications. But you need to check through a couple of settings, and let's go through those now from the different admin centers. So let's start from the M365 admin center. There are actually 3 different settings that I'm recommending you to check out. The first setting is a tenant level decision that who has access to the Copilot agents in general. So the default setting is that everyone who has access to M365 Copilot has an agent available for them. So the default setting for this is all users. And you can make a decision that, okay, maybe you want to block the agents in general from everyone, or maybe you can want to set up only a group or specific users that will have access for them. So if you block this one or set up only certain groups to have the agent access, what happens to the other users is that from the Copilot chat experience, the right section for these different plugins and agents will be disappeared. So that's how the blocking is done here. So either you have a full access or you don't have access at all for the agent experience. But that is found on the M365 Admin Center. The next setting that you need to maybe rethink, hopefully you have set up already this experience for you, is that who are able or are your end users able to install applications in general. So there's a setting for that in the Admin Center. And the agents are actually part of the custom application section here. So you can decide that are your end users able to add a custom applications in general, and that setting is available in the M365 Admin Center. And then of course, even if you are setting this on to everyone, you are allowing custom applications to be installed. You have a possibility to fine-tune and make decisions that which of the agents or applications in general are available for your end users. And the first place where you are making these settings is from the integrated applications settings. I will show this to you today when we are discussing about the overall publishing process. But the thing is that if me as a developer, I'm creating an agent, either with the Copilot Studio or some other technology in the future, I can send that agent to be approved by the administrators. So before it's available for the end users, the admins needs to take actions to approve it. So there is a functionality to make a request for the application, and then you as an admin can make a decision that is this application allowed and who has access for them. You will also see different detailed information about the agent while you are making this decision to publish them. Throughout this experience, yes, you can limit the action or access for the Copilot agent even in the group level or in the individual level. But I will discuss about a couple of details around this, because an overall control on who has access to the app is only for those applications that will be published throughout this experience. But unfortunately, there is a way of the end users to share the agents in different way also. And for those, we don't have a full control currently. But I'll explain what that actually means in a moment. So this is the first place to make a decision that who has access to which of the agents and have a control over those. The next place where you have few settings that affect on the agent side is in the Power Platform Admin Center. So from here, first of all, there's a tenant setting that you can use to make a decision that who has access to the Copilot Studio in general. Of course, you can always give the Copilot Studio license for your end user, which then will give them a permission to start creating the agents in either as an extension for the M365 Copilot or as an individual agent for some other services. But there is now also a setting for that available in the Power Platform Admin Center. Admin Center on that side. And as said, also the other settings around Power Platform in general are something that you need to think through and set up. So maybe the most important setting in the Power Platform Admin Center are actually the data loss prevention policies, because these are affecting in multiple different ways for the agents. So first of all, if you are making a policy that you are blocking, for example, I don't know, SQL Server access, it means that the agent is not able to use the SQL Server connection while you are trying to create these in the Copilot Studio side. So those are something that you can decide in the environment level that what type of connections are available for the Copilot Studio agents. There are also some of the specific DLP settings for Copilot Studio, which are seen here in the image. And there are a couple of interesting ones here. I think that during this week, what Microsoft did actually is that they started to initialize these settings for everyone as a default one, which means that these settings are now on in each of the tenant. At least yesterday, a couple of my customers were calling me that, okay, why something is happening in the Copilot Studio side. So the thing is that with these settings, I could make a decision that, okay, no one is able to create an agent and publish that as an application to the Teams app store from this side. I can also make a decision that, okay, every Copilot agent that you are building with the Copilot Studio needs to authenticate the end user, which means that you are unable to create an anonymous Copilot agent if I'm setting this DLP connector as a blocked one in the environment. That's maybe the most important part to think through, that how you are, what type of agents you would like the end users to be able to build, because depending on your default settings, it might be that this type of anonymous agent experience is available for everyone who has access to the Copilot Studio if you haven't made changes before on these settings. So at least for your default environment, please check these different options and think through that what is the best one for your organization, that how you want to set this up. So that's the most important setting on the Power Platform Admin Center actually. And then the last from the sixth is the settings that you find from the Teams Admin Center side. In the Teams Admin Center, there are also settings regarding the different applications. So you need to think through that which of the applications are available for your end users from the Teams side. It's also possible that there is an application published to your Teams App Store, which can also be acting as an extension for the M365 Copilot. For example, if you have done the Teams message extensions earlier, it might be that those are available as an extensions also in the Copilot side. So think through the situation and how everything has been set up for your tenant, so that you understand that what applications are available as an Copilot agent also, even if they have done or developed earlier as an individual applications in the Teams side. Other settings that you should think through is the site loading setting for the Teams applications. There's a setting for that available in the Admin Center, and what that means is that if the site loading is enabled, you could actually install an agent throughout the uploading experience if the user has the agent package available. So they could get a zip file and then install that as an application for them and start to use that agent as an extension side. Also, the agents that you are creating with the Teams Toolkit, they are currently controlled over the Teams experience at this side, at this moment. So the DLP function, this one, this is a general setting that's available for each of the tenants. So there's no direct connection on the licensing side here. There are connectors that are standard ones that are available for every user, and then some of the connectors are available only for those users who has the premium licensing side. You don't have to have the Copilot M365 Copilot tenant subscription to use these functionalities. They are already there. One important thing to remember is that the DLP settings are affecting on every item in the Power Platform environment. So it means that if I'm making a decision to block that SQL Server, for example, it will affect on the agents, but that same setting will affect on the applications, so Power Apps or Power Automates, which are created in the same environment with the agents. So these are not only, Copilot agent specific ones. But as said, from the Teams side, you have a couple of settings regarding the applications. The bad thing currently is, again, a note for hassle from a Microsoft side, is that the application management experience is currently under quite heavy changes. So there are two major updates or changes that are upcoming. So first of all, in the Teams app management, the former permission policy based control will be now replaced with the app centric model. So earlier, how you were handling that which applications are available for your end user, you created this type of permission policy for them. And then you targeted that policy for a certain group, for example. But now in the new model, you need to make these decisions in the application level, that which of the users has access to each of these apps. So that's one change that is already rolling currently, and you can also make a decision that maybe you want to migrate your current settings based on the new experience. The other even bigger change will be that the M365 integrated app and the Teams app stores will be will be migrated as an one application center in the future. This change might start already, on the first quarter of this year, but I haven't seen this yet to be available in any tenant. But this is something that will be happening during this year, which then means that in the future, maybe even next month, depending on the situation, there's only one app center from where you are making these decisions and settings, and all of the settings will then be affecting both on the tenant level app stores in general and also in the Teams app store. So currently you need to think through and maybe even check that, okay, where is my agent currently? Is it in the integrated application side, or is it in the Teams application side, or in the Teams admin center? And then depending on what is happening or how you want things to be, you need to take actions on the correct admin center. But luckily that will be going away in the future. So that's how you are able to set up the most important settings for the Copilot agents. I think that let's look a couple of settings in a moment, but before we go and see those settings, let's discuss about how you want to control the publishing and different sharing experiences for the agents. It's easier to show the different settings from the different admin centers throughout this type of example here. As said before, how I see the different agent options is that the M365 chat or SharePoint agent types of agents, how I see them is that they are your personal agents. Maybe you want to use those only for the small team to be used, but the target is to have them in quite personal level. And my recommendation is that when you are starting to create an agent for a larger audience, or maybe for the whole organization, you should leverage the Copilot Studio or the Teams toolkit to create them. That way you will have a better control over the different steps and functionalities. So to have a consistent and secured process on creating the agent on the Copilot Studio side, I'm recommending you to take a couple of steps already advanced maybe to think through that what type of ALM process you want to build, and then make the settings based on those in different environments. So first of all, I'm recommending you to create multiple environments for the agents. So in minimum, I would personally create a development environment and then the production environment, so that you have one place where your agent creators are building the solutions, and then one environment for the production versions of the agents. One important thing to remember that both the Copilot Studio license and the Microsoft 365 Copilot license, they are including a permission to use the Copilot Studio, and throughout that license, you also are allowed to use the Power Platform managed environments. The managed environments will give you a couple of tools that are, I think, really valuable for the admins, meaning that when you are promoting these different environments as managed, you can set up a couple of security settings, but also you can set up the publishing pipelines that your developers can use quite easily to bring the agents from the development on the production side. So the most important settings that the managed environments will give you is to have a possibility to set up an carding on to whom the Copilot agents can be shared from the environment. So what we are using currently is a setting that in the development side, the agent can only be shared for an individual users, so that the idea is that in the development there's only a small amount of persons who are using those and testing the agents. And then you need to bring the agent on the production side throughout an admin approval process, so that the app is then available for them. There's also few things that you need to figure out on the environment level, that who has in general an access to the environment and who can actually start to create the applications. This is the same setting than with the apps or Power Automates. So you need to set up the roles for the end users. But let's check this throughout the demo, so it's an easier way on understanding the different settings. So what we have here, I have an environment. I have a development environment type of sandbox. So this is the environment where we want our end users to create these agents. And what they can do from here is that they can create the agent, and we can also check the sharing settings at this point, so that you understand the differences between the admin approval process and the sharing process. So let's give this a moment. Hopefully it comes down pretty soon. I'll open one admin center from this side while this is opening. Okay, let's open another one. strange, of course, at this point. I can see it from here also. Hopefully. Now we have the agent, I think, here. So inside the environment here, we have this agent that we have created. First of all, what we have done here is that each agent needs to go in a solution. There's a setting for this also in the environment level that where you can set up it so that every element that are created on the Power Platform side will go inside a solution. And especially with this agent, it's really important practicality that you are starting to use these solutions so that you will have control over the publishing process also. But me as an end user, what I could do here in general in the default setting is that I can publish the agent from here. And after the publishing, I can see from here that on which services these agents are available. And then I could make settings under the availability options that to whom I want this agent to be shared. So I can always get a link from here, and I could now send the link to other user who is able to then open the agent and start to use it. Of course, I need to set up the permission for those individual users or security groups from here. But in theory, this is something that could happen. So your end users could create an agent. They could then share this to other persons in the tenant. Then they can get a link, send that to another person, and in a one way they are able to bypass the application management side with this experience. But what they are unable to do from here is to send this agent to be available for everyone. And for that, you need to set up the admin approval process. So when I'm clicking this button here, this is saying that, okay, now I'm starting to share this agent to everyone. And what happens now is that this agent is sent for us admins for an approval in the integrated application side. I'll switch on the app admin center in the moment, but just as a reference, this zip file here, what this would create for me is a package holding this agent. And now comes the setting for the Teams site loading. I could then also send this zip file to someone who could then upload or sideload that application and to have that agent to be available. So that's why it's important to have that setting on the Teams admin center in the correct way, how you want things to be on your tenant. So let's go on the admin center and let's check the integrated applications. So what we now have here is a request for the agents, and me as an admin can now make a decision that, okay, do I approve this agent or not? And from here, under the details, I can see that does it have what type of capabilities? Does it have actions? What knowledge does it have? And as we can see here, this agent is actually using the graph connector as a knowledge source, but it could be anything depending on what type of settings it has been given. And then I could make a decision that, okay, I want to reject this one, or I can publish this one. After the publishing, I can start to create settings that who has access to the application or agent. So when the agent is published, I can start to add more information and fine-tune the different access settings. Maybe we can go do it so that let's approve this. So let's publish this one. It takes a while, but after that we can set up the different settings. So now you see that what type of things I can set up. So I can from here decide that who has access to this agent, meaning that who is able to see this agent from the App Store and then install that one. So I can set up an user or group from here, and only then those will have access to this agent. On the settings side, you have the different settings for the application in general, which you can find under the available applications and under the settings. So the Copilot Agent setting is available from here. So that's a one-time setting, and after that you need to think through that how you want to set up the whole process for managing this publishing. So who is responsible of checking that when a new application is published, and what type of settings you want to give for each of the agents. But that's available from the integrated application side. Then of course those important settings from the Power Platform point of view. For example, I can make up a setting that which of the actions and connectors are used or available for these agents from this side. And those are then handled in the Power Platform Admin Center. So I can set up the different data policies from this side here. So I can edit the DLP settings in the same way. Well, this is the unified experience from here, but I could then give a setting from here that, okay, SQL Server is blocked. And after that, it means that I'm unable to create an action which would be using this SQL Server on this side. So currently this is open, but if I'm blocking the connector from here, it means that I'm unable to create this. The end users will get an error saying that based on the DLP setting, that one is not allowed for you to be using or used. So that's done on the Power Platform settings from this side. Other important thing, like I said, was that you need to, or I'm recommending you to creating each of these environments as managed ones. So then under here you can set up that who has access or who has permissions for the applications or agents from this side, and to whom they can be shared. So in the development environment, we are normally using that all those agents can only be shared for individuals, and then only on the production side we are allowing those different groups to be available. Currently, other important or interesting information on the Power Platform Admin Center is the Copilot Studio licensing information. So for those custom engine agents, so the course agent that we saw earlier, those are consuming the message capacity from the tenant, and you can see those that information from this side of the admin center. I'm normally using the downloadable report to see that what type of or how many messages are the different agents using. But if you want to see in general that what type of agents there are for the M365 Copilot, that information is available for you currently in the Microsoft 365 Admin Center. So under the reporting, there's a new tab here for the agents, where you can see that what agents there are and how many active usage there has been for these agents. Thing to remember in this report is that only the agents that are created with the Copilot Studio or Teams toolkits are available in this report. So there's no SharePoint agent visibility in these type of reports currently. So that's still quite well. Hopefully we are some point seeing those information on this reporting side, but currently we are unable to say that how many SharePoint agents, for example, there is in the environments. But this is the basic reporting for different agents. And now when the custom engine agents are coming as an extension once, then you start to see that information also here in the Power Platform Admin Center side. So you need to combine this information based on different agent types that to find out that which one are used and available for your end users. So that's one, or those are the most important settings and different places in the admin center that you need to be aware of. So from the monitoring side, as a final note, I think I mentioned this already. There's also an audit logging available for each of the agents. So from the Microsoft PureView service, you are able to see every action that are taken against the agents. That's one place on finding the monitoring information. I know that there was multiple different things that we went through today, but luckily Microsoft and I also added a couple of things here. Here is a so-called quick guide for you to check the different settings throughout different admin centers and experiences, so that you remember that if you want to have some setting available, that from which of the admin centers you need to get that information and make the settings based on your needs. But there, I think we spent the time that we agreed around different settings and agent governance, but I still have time here if you have more questions or want to discuss about these things.
I know for a fact I'll definitely be going through the recording once we release it again, because there was so much information, and all of it's excellent because of the fact that this is the information I was looking for. The company I'm working at actually bought 470 Copilot licenses, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, this is for the people who have the Copilot license, this new thing showed up in SharePoint document libraries, and we didn't improve that.
Exactly. Yeah. And Microsoft is adding the capabilities quite rapidly currently. And the fact is that how things have been working in the agent side is that something is coming available for you even before you have any type of control possibilities to them or settings. So I don't know, maybe it's the competition in the AI in general which is causing this one, but the amount and base for the changes has been terrible, let's put it this way, for the past months.
Oddly enough, the thing that jumped to my mind the most, Mikko, is the fact that with the personal SharePoint agents, those could become rampant, like as in hundreds.
Yes.
Easily.
Those could easily, they are so easy to create and to use. I think from the admin perspective, luckily there's not too many functionalities there, and they are maintaining the permission for SharePoint. But there is that a little bit scary button for the Copilot Studio there, and we don't know what happens in the future for that. But I think Microsoft is still thinking through, and hopefully they are thinking through the governance process, which is the next step from the SharePoint side.
Awesome. It looks like you're getting a lot of love in the chat, by the way.
Correct. So that's good point about the billing thing and surprises. In one way, the good thing is that everything what we saw today is available you through the Copilot 365 licensing, and you need to specifically set up the pay-as-you-go services, which could then lead for the billing side, but those are not on automatically, which is a good thing in one way. So currently there's no way of making something bad from the financial point of view automatically by your end users, but let's see where we are in the future when everyone is able to activate the pay-as-you-go or something like that. Let's see how it goes. All right. I think it's already, how much was it? It's 8 o'clock, I think, in your time or something like that. Yes, and I think what's happening actually next is that I will thank you, and I think the Canada USA is starting in a couple of minutes. Unfortunately, we are not there in the finals, but for us Finns, the most important thing was that Sweden lost to us, and we are happy with that one.
The last few games were absolutely brutal.
Yeah, they were brutal for sure, but interesting one also. But let's see how things goes today. Hopefully they are not fighting too much, but you never know.
I mean, the last one where Canada and United States faced off, in the first, I think it was 6 minutes, there were 5 fights.
Yeah, something like that. So there might be some heat in the garden today in the finals.
Indeed. Thank you so much, Miko,
Okay,
for
thank
presenting.
you so much. And well, if there's anything, contact me through LinkedIn. I'm always happy to help others also in this matter here.
Absolutely. Thank you so very much.
Okay, thank you so much. Yep. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, everyone. So just some really quick notes. So we have a call for speakers. If you're interested in speaking, no, you do not have to be a professional consultant, but if you have something you would like to share with the community, please let us know. We're definitely interested, and we will certainly reach out to you. If you go ahead and fill out that form, we're definitely looking for new talent as well. Not just the old guard, so to speak, because just like a Rubik's Cube on a conference room table, you might see something very different from your perspective that may teach someone else.
And it's still for 2025. I just haven't changed the dates, but please use this link.
Oh,
I gotta
Bill.
get a new link.
That's all right. We just love 2024 so much.
I know. So.
Oh my goodness.
See, that was February. Do we have anything lined up for March?
Not yet. I have a few things, but I don't want to do any spoilers just in case things don't pan out. However, that's definitely in process. We will send out a emailer to each and every single one of you who have signed up as soon as we get that locked down. All right. Yeah, upcoming. Yeah, there's a bunch of things that are coming. The tech community, especially when it comes to Microsoft 365 and all things related, is extremely large. Definitely take a look at these. There are a lot of interesting things. Look on pnp.github.io. They're all up there, and definitely take a look, especially if something you see is of interest to you.
Yeah, and I have to check these, so there might be some slight changes. I haven't checked for 2025 yet.
Yep, that's true. Very true. And of course, we have a lot of additional resources. Women IT Pros Monthly. The Power Addicts is my favorite name ever.
Yeah.
So if you have a Dr. Evil personality, that one's for you. Power Hour, as you can imagine, etc. And then, of course, there's 365 Champion Community Call as well. Definitely take a look into those. We have a bunch of user groups in the area. We have Rhode Island. Some of these meet more often than others. Definitely take a look at those links, and they'll be more than happy to let you know if and when they are meeting and how often. I know for a fact Grant State is, I think, every first, is it Monday? I believe it's Monday. I'm losing my mind, but that's okay. It's the first week of the month. And then, of course, you have Boston Azure, Boston Cloud, as well as Power Apps and Automate. So there's a lot of resources out there to help you. You don't feel like you're alone in the M365 soup. There's a lot available to you. Really quick, do you have anything you want to ask, or something that you have figured out and like, holy mackerel, that's the most amazing thing I've ever found? Like SharePoint actually has, I don't know, a document library. I kid. Anyone? Bueller. Go ahead and you can come off mic.
How did you know it was me?
How do I say it? Yeah, I used a Johnny Carson.
Because I always do. Yeah. So actually, Bill and I were discussing Microsoft has released a new kind of interface, or I'll say yet another interface for their permission management system inside SharePoint for SharePoint documents. And it's actually kind of nice. It's it splits, it gives you different tabs to go through to look at the different permissions. And the thing that kind of had us talking a little bit is it specifies, it actually shows the difference between the different types of groups that are in there.
So the sharing UI we're talking about, when you click on a file and you click share, a new user interface comes up. And that user interface still has the direct, it has the groups, and then a link sharing that you can add.
Yep.
Terrific. Thanks for that, Mike. Anyone else? I know it's late, so I'm going to do the short version.
Yes.
Yeah, a real quick one short version. The agents that was spoken here, I realized there's another agent that can be built in something totally different, Azure AI Foundry, and that can be deployed into the Copilot Studio, and that's something that's totally different animal. But just mentioning, we are just exploring it. Basically, you can leverage OpenAI through your search indexes and such. So that's totally different from what was spoken here.
Wow, thanks for bringing that up, Das. I completely forgot that's a whole nother animal.
Yep.
That's so true. Thank you for that,
and Das, we'd love to have you speak on that in our next month's session.
Yeah,
So
I would love to, but I'm exploring too. Once I am comfortable and I'm kind of, when I feel that I'm good enough, I don't mind. But right now, I'm a novice. Yeah.
I can definitely appreciate that, but yeah, definitely let us know when you're ready and you've kind of muddled through the mud, so to speak.
Sure,
because that is definitely a huge area within itself. Awesome. Anyone else?
Okay.